In this video, guys, I'm going to be giving you a review of the XIAOVV camera, which I purchased some time ago. I purchased it December the 5th, and today is basically 6 months later, May the 13th, right? So let's click on it to ensure that we are looking at the right camera, because they sell different types of cameras, right? So when I purchased this, I would have paid about $140 for four, right? Today they have two for $100, right? So we're going to be taking a look at the disadvantages and advantages that I found with this camera. So first and foremost, we're going to start out with the advantages. I must say the camera quality is pretty good compared to other cameras that I've tried out there. You can do almost a 360 rotation. That is good. The audio on the camera is excellent, right? So it somewhat filters out the background noise to an extent, and if someone is talking, you can almost hear that clearly. So what I'm going to be doing now is that I'm going to be heading over to the mobile app to show you some of the additional features. So this is the mobile app, and this is one of the four cameras which I am using, right? So let me go back to, let's just stick with this view for now, right? So I'm going to tap on view so you can get an idea of the quality which I'm talking about for a cheap camera like this. So currently this is in SD mode. Now let's put it in HD and you will see the difference, right? Things are pretty clear, right? You can see anything that you need to really, right? Now let's look at some of the features of this camera. If you go ahead and select more, you can trigger an alarm if you see someone on the premise, right? You can enable motion tracking, so once it detects movement, it automatically starts to track that movement. You can preset the PRTZ. This is the ability to switch your camera to different angles, like rotate it to different position. You have the light control, which you can set it to auto. It automatically comes on in the night, like if it detects motion, or you can always keep it on. Now I recommend that you keep it on auto if you're using solar only. If you're plugged into a direct power source, you can always keep the light on, whichever you prefer. So you have the ability to edit your image settings. You can use full color, you can use auto, and BMW, right? This turns on in low light mode. So I'm going to go back to auto. So it automatically detects basically the lighting settings. Let's go back to more again. Now you have AI event insights. Note this requires a subscription, which I do not use. They can basically use AI to detect events such as tag people, cars, pets, packages, and so forth, right? I haven't used that feature. That is what it say it can do, but I trust them on their word, right? So let's go back to more. You have the inversion option. Say for some reason you want to invert your camera, you can invert it, right? Now when it comes on to motion detection, it does a good job on that. So if we go to settings, you can adjust your PIR sensitivity to how you want it to be sensitive to detecting changes or motion in your environment. That's what the PIR sensitivity does. Now remember, the light setting is set to auto. You can also adjust the sensitivity. You can also adjust the lamp sensitivity, right? So you can go from medium to low or to high. So for that, I keep that at medium. Now for alarm, for example, when it detects motion or human detection, it notifies you, and also it will give out a signal saying, hey, you're under surveillance. Now you have different recording settings that you can choose from. So let's look at recording settings. So currently I don't have an SD card. You have different power modes that you can choose from, right? So let's select the adaptive power mode. So low power mode is ideal if you want to just mainly see what's happening. You don't really want to capture motions, right? The battery saving mode, which is self-explanatory, and then you have the adaptive mode. And one thing I like about this, you can set the timing when you want the camera to switch in this mode. You can set the time interval. So you want to enable this mode from say 8 p.m. to 7 a.m. You have the option to do that. That is one thing I really like about it. Now if you want to enable, you also have the option to do like continuous recording, right? So to achieve that, you would just go to more, you would select settings, select record settings, And note for this, you need to have a SD card installed, right? So here I have the option to enable continuous recording, event recording, and record audio, and you can also record in HD or SD. So you can switch around between the different types of modes depending on how you want to conserve your battery. Now for the disadvantages that I found with this camera. One, it doesn't automatically turns on if the battery died. So for example, the battery runs out, even though it has an on switch and the solar panel isn't plugged in, you have to probably jump start the camera with additional charge and then you turn it on. It doesn't automatically comes on. So I find that as a big disadvantage for this camera. Now I believe like all the other cameras, once you have activities like constant recording, constant motioning, it depletes the battery very fast. Now, one thing I don't like about this camera is that you don't have the option to say set continuous recording, and then once the battery low, it switches out of continuous recording and switch back. So that's a feature that would definitely help this camera a lot. So if I want to switch to continuous recording, I have to manually go and do that in the camera at all times. And another disadvantage I found with this camera is that it has to be on the internet to record activity. So even though I have the SD card, right? If the internet is not there, for some reason it's not recording. I don't know if it's just the cameras that I have, but with, for example, an EC camera that I have, even if there's no internet, once my camera is on and I have an SD card in, it records the activities and I can always go back and watch them on the SD card. So those are the few disadvantages that I found with this camera. I hope this helped you in making a decision whether you want it or not. But I must say the camera quality is extremely good. Now, if you found this video helpful, I recommend that you please leave a like on this video. That's the least you can do for the time I took to help you out in making a decision whether you want to purchase this camera or not. So that's it for now. Thank you for watching and don't forget to leave a like or comment on this video.